My name is Homer Capers with the Capers, and I'm 100 years old.
All right. And so, where were you born, Mr. Capers?
I was born in Shelby. I was born in Vaughan, Mississippi.
And how are we spelling that?
Vaughan.
Okay. And so,
Vaughan.
tell me about your childhood, what you can remember. How many siblings did you have? About your parents and your grandparents?
Well, we started with my brother and I. Was only two kids for 15 years, and then my sister came along, Mary Jean. But Bob, my brother and I had the same mother and father. Uh, 15 years before my baby sister born.
What were your parents' names?
My father was named Selvis Capers, Selvish. I'm the only guy that used a S on the end. I don't know why. But anyway, my mother was named Katie Capers.
And so, do you remember your grandparents?
My grandfather, yeah, I remember him. My mother's father, and Jim Simpson was my mother's father.
So, tell me, what do you remember about him, your
He
granddad?
was a big time farmer right there in Mississippi. See, Mississippi was the worst state in the United States, you know. But yeah, that's the way life was then.
Well, why was it the worst state?
They had different rules, you know. Actually, all all states, really, people don't know all states about the same. They got the same technology that the other states had, but Mississippi was the worst one. We had colored water fountain and all that stuff, but I wouldn't know. I thought that was legal because I was a child, growing up back in them days. And
So, did your grandparents live on a farm?
oh yeah, my grandfather, he big time farmer. He had plantation, as they call it plantation, and both of my grandfathers had. Nels Carter and Jim Simpson both had their own farm. Yeah, they was allowed to have. They had big acres of farm.
Did you spend a lot of time on their farms when you were a kid?
Yeah, I stayed with my grandparents, stayed with my uncles. My mother, she was a nanny, as you call it, working for the white folks. But that was the way of life. That's all. That's what I grew up knowing.
So, what did you do on the farm?
I didn't do nothing. I really haven't. I never worked for nobody. I was whatever I did was my own boss. After I grew up, 15, 14 years old, I used to deliver for drugstores and stuff like that.
So,
I always wanted to be independent.
were black people allowed to go in those stores back then?
Yeah, you could go in. No, you couldn't go in. You had to go to a window and pass a note out, and they give you what you want. And that wasn't back then. Hell, that was happening in the 40s. Before Mississippi. You couldn't go in the grocery store. You write your note out what you wanted, and then you hand it to the guy, and he give it to you. And he take it and go around in the store and get what you wrote down, what your pastor wrote, and then bring it to the door and give it back then.
So, in your town, was it segregated? Was it all black people? Would the white people and black people live together?
You had color there. Well, see, back then we didn't know anything about black.
We was colored then.
Yeah, we were color there. We had color territory. You didn't live in a group of mix. All right.
So all the colored people lived
Yeah.
together, and then the white people lived together.
Yeah, and we had colored people had their own big farm, cotton farms and all that stuff. Mm-hmm.
So tell us about sharecropping. What's sharecropping?
Well, sharecropper, I think, at that time, the white man will give you acres of land to harvest, and then they'll take 3/3 and you take a quarter of it. You know, that's what they call a sharecropper. You had to give up half of what do you own, you know, to them.
So were your parents or uncles, were they sharecroppers?
Yeah, I had two uncles was a sharecropper, but my granddad, they had their own farm. They wasn't a sharecropper. They had their own farm, you know, but they were separate.
So did the colored people have their own schoolhouse?
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
So tell me about school down in Mississippi.
Well, a huge building with a lot of benches in there, you know, long picnic benches. It wasn't this room and that room. Everything. It was just a whole big room, you know. And everybody was going to church. They had their own church and stuff like that. It wasn't integrated in church.
So all the kids were in the same building. It wasn't like first grade, second grade, third grade, right?
Everybody in the same building, right? No room in. You're right.
So what do you remember about your teachers?
Teachers great. You know, I can remember. I don't. We didn't have mixed teachers. We had color teachers, but they were lovely. You know, with the yeah,
And so how old were you when you left Mississippi?
I was grown. I was in 1941. Well, I was drafted in the Army in 1941. Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. Sam told me to bring it up close for 3 days, and I didn't see the United States no more until 3 years and 6 months.
So how old were you when you were drafted?
I was about 21 or 22, I think.
So you had been
1945.
So you had been in Mississippi up until then?
Yeah, all my life. Until I went to the Army. Yeah.
So I want to know some more about your school life. So what's the highest grade you went to that you finished
If you
school?
really want to know, 5th grade, I believe I went. I believe 5th grade was when was high as I went.
And then after that you had to work, right?
Right.
So what kind of work did you do after you was 15?
Well, I was service station attender, you know, and matter of fact, I worked at a gas station. I hauled gas for the companies, you know, for gas station, truck driver, you know. I always wanted to be a man when I was small. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a man. You know, I wanted to get out on my own, make a better life, you know. I had it in my mind after I see the way things was, you know. And
So
I was always like the man. I always wanted to do it myself. I didn't want to take orders from someone.
So when was your first encounter with racism? When was the first time you felt racist, or maybe somebody called you nigger, or what was the first time you remember experiencing racism?
Well, when it come down to races, when I grew up with races, we just had a certain place that we could go and certain place we couldn't go, you know, like colored water fountain and all that stuff. Well, I know that was the way of life. We weren't supposed to drink out, but they had the two fountains right together, white and black, you know, white and colored. We wasn't black then, we was colored, you know. And
in the military, did you experience racism?
oh God. You see, a lot of people don't know, 1940, when Japanese bomb Pearl Harbor, like I said, when I went overseas. Let's go back. I always, I tried to join the Navy. So I went in and they interviewed me and everything, and they told me I had a bad heart. So that's why they didn't accept me in the Navy for volunteers. I had a bad heart. So I was turned down there. But when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, Uncle Sam told me to bring enough clothes for 3 days. And then I was shipped out from New York City to Staten Island to Bombay, India. And I was in service about a year and a half overseas.
So tell me about your experience in India.
I'm getting to that now. So I was a mechanic. I was in charge of heavy equipment. Cause see, we built at Toledo Burma Road up in Burma, and a year and a half I was in India. I said, well, I can get out of the army because I can start to complain about my heart. And so I'm trying to get out of the service because see, what a lot of people don't know, World War II was a segregated war. We didn't eat, we didn't fight together, we didn't sleep together. The colored had their own platoon and company, and the white over here, you know. So I said, I can get out of this. All I got to do is start to complain about my heart. So I went to the hospital. Went to the dispensary. I started from my heart. So they put me in the field hospital, and I was there for 2 weeks. And the doctor came in, and well, I had made sergeant then. I came from private to sergeant. I skipped PFC because I was well, I have to get back. One day, let's go back when we was in basic training. I'm trying to keep from working. I don't want to be the boss. So I told a guy, I was a private caper, so I was telling one of the workers, man, that ain't the way you dig a hole. You use a shovel like this, you know. And so after 5 o'clock, I went in, the captain wanted to see me. I don't know what the hell I did now. So I went in the office, and he said, well, I like the way you handle those guys I did today, so I'm going to make you corporal. Okay, for that. And, but anyway, go back to when I was complaining about my heart. I went to the hospital. The doctor came in, he looked at my chart, and he said, Sergeant Caper says, what's your problem? I said, you got the chart, I got a bad heart, you know. So he put the chart back down and put the bed, he went on by his neck. About a week later, he came back, he said, Sergeant Caper, I see you still here. I said, yeah, I should be going home pretty soon, you know. So he looked at my chart again. He said, well, I might well tell you the truth. Ain't nothing wrong with your heart. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, ain't but 2 people in Mississippi got good hearts. I said, who is that? He said, me and you, because he was a doctor. He's from Mississippi. And he said, well, they told you had a bad heart because they wasn't accepting colored people in the Navy, you know, for volunteer. I said, they got that over it. But World War II was a segregated war. Like I said, we were separate, you know, separate from everything.
So when you were in India, how did the people treat Negroes then?
Well, that's when I found out that Negroes didn't have a problem, because they told us to go in a grove. Don't ever travel in this Calcutta Indians by yourself, you know, 2 or 3 people. But come to find out, they was talking about the white soldier, really. But naturally, we was all together. But we could go, the coast could go anywhere warm. Could go anywhere by itself, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we were treated fine now. But the Indian was saying Malcolm no good back in them days. Go home, Malcolm go home, Malcolm no good. I said, what the hell I'm doing over here if Malcolm no good, you know what I mean? But the color didn't have no problem, you know. It was whitey all the time. That's just where life was, you know. I guess they was fighting with one another, and we didn't know nothing about it. We were just labels, you know what I mean?
So after you left India, where did you go?
Well, we went to Rio de Janeiro, South America, Cape Town, South Africa, and Toledo Burma Road. I built that. Yep, we built that Toledo Burma Road for fighters that have a place to land when they were fighting the Japanese.
So were those places beautiful to you? Because I've seen pictures
Mountain, oh God, you know.
It was beautiful.
Toledo Burma Road was a bad territory, you know. If you had a problem, fall off the cliff, they wouldn't even look for you because the debris was so deep that they wouldn't, you know, it was dangerous. And
Rio de Janeiro was beautiful.
yeah, beautiful scenery, if you, that's what you want to call it. Yeah, it was sort of like Cancun, where the people go now. But if you want to see some, that's why everybody would like to go overseas because you know, well, the mountains, so stuff like
And
that.
so, what do you remember about being in South Africa?
Well, beautiful place, but it was South. They got their own country. See, like we don't have nothing to go on. But people used to talk about South Africa. Used to talk about it. Well, hey, Africa is Africa. They got their own country. We don't have. So, you know, we're secondary. You know, so, but it's a beautiful place. You know.
So, apartheid was definitely in existence when you were
Right,
there.
right. Like Mandela, like when he went to prison, he came back and then he made president of South Africa.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how long were you in the military altogether?
3 years and 6 months
All right.
until the war was over.
So, you never had to fight in the war.
You have to keep on fighting. Yeah. I was with the Japanese. They would be a booby traps for us. You know.
But oh, so you had to actually fight in the war? You were in battle?
No, I wasn't battling the war, but I was right in the midst of it because I had to prepare for the fighters.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just as bad because when the Japanese started bombing, we had foxholes we had to run in until they get through bombing, and we come back out. You know.
So
You would call it fighting, it was just as bad. You was right in it.
so when you left Mississippi, and so was New York the next place that you went after you left Mississippi?
No, I left Mississippi and came to Ohio.
Oh.
Yeah. Matter of fact, well, when I came out of service, my family, my family had moved to California. So I went to Los Angeles. And I worked at Williams Shipyard, San Pedro, California, as a welder. I lived in L.A., 1443rd East 54th Street. That's where my first wife and I didn't even know my first wife when I came back out of service. You know, 3 years and 6 months. I was only married for a short period of time before I went in the Army. And when I got discharged, I came to L.A. where my family was living. Called a cab. He came, got me downtown at the airport. So we came back into L.A., Los Angeles, and I seen this young lady walking down the street, looked just like Cat. My first name was Cat. So I told the cab driver, "Hey, cab, stop, man, that's my wife." And he stopped and pulled up beside. I said, rolled the glass down. Cat. She never stopped walking. The driver said, "Don't feel bad, sir. So that's the way it happened all the time. If I had a gun, I'd have killed him."
So who lived in California? Cousins, aunts, uncles?
My first wife.
Oh, okay.
And her mother, her family.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. So how did you like California?
Well, I didn't have no other choice. When I discharged, I came back to Mississippi, and then I went to L.A. to my family.
Well, when you got discharged and you went back to Mississippi, had anything changed for the better? It was still the same?
It's still the same. See, that's what I couldn't figure out. And I just got through fighting the Japanese in World War II. The United States brought 40,000 to Belzoni, Mississippi, and give them freedom that we didn't have, that I didn't have when I was born and raised there, but they could go anywhere. 40,000 refugees of Japanese. Belzoni, Mississippi. Give them houses and everything, you know, I mean, that I didn't have when I was born in Mississippi, you know. So that's what started me to thinking, you know.
So that started you to thinking about what?
Life, what I want to live, you know. But well, you know, when I came back out of the war, I started my own business, ice business. At Block Ice, I bought me a truck and I never worked for nobody but myself. I bought me a truck and I started running ice out through the country, you know. I had my own business. And after that, I went into mechanic. I had my own welding shop and mechanic shop and everything. So I had a friend lived in Warren. And he kept writing me to come to Mississippi, come to Ohio, that I could make good money, you know.
How did you meet your friend?
Well, he was from Mississippi, but he had brothers that lived here in Warren, B.J. Johnson. And your people would know Ms. William. They lived on Hort Street, on the Hort and Highland Avenue, Todd Avenue. But anyway, I came here in 1945, and came into Chicago, and from there I came to Warren, Ohio, and
So what did you think of Warren, Ohio, the first time you came here?
it's bad as Mississippi, really.
In what in what
Shit the
respect?
same way.
In what respect?
Well, the place is, see, you young, you don't know, but Cleveland was a racist, still is. Akron, there's some parts of Akron, but when I came to Warren in 1951, me and my wife, Linda's mother, we was going to go to a movie at a Robin Theater. So I was smoking then. I wanted a match. I went in this little bar on Market Street and Pine Street to get a match. Got about halfway in, the guy said, "We don't serve blacks in here." I said, "I don't eat them, guy. How about a match?" You know. So I said, "Well, hell, I just left Mississippi and I'm going through the same stuff." You know, I said, so you know, that was the way of life. You know, I was okay. But then I signed up for the work for the governor, Lordstown Ordnance, tank mechanic. You know, that's one. Then I met a guy out there, and he found out I was a mechanic, and that's when I bought a plot on Pine Street. And that's when I built my gas station.
You built it from the ground up?
Well, this guy had the debris down there on Pine Street, and so I bought a piece of land from him, and I built it up. I put a sign up, need field date and all that stuff. So after I got all that together, then I said, well, I'm going to build me a gas station then in the flats, you know. So I built a 40 by 50 gas station, and Arthur Vaughn and all the contractors, they helped me, you know, they built and everything. And
Arthur Vaughn was another African-American man that...
Right, he was a country, him and Woods and Cali and all of them was black contractors here. So I got that together and everything.
So you were the first African-American to have a gas station in Warren, Ohio.
Yeah, Warren, Ohio, yeah.
And what was the name of the gas station?
Cape of Sohio Service.
Sohio. So how did that work? Because I would think not too many black people had gas stations back then. So did you have to contact the Sohio company? And
No, what happened, I was doing it on my own. You know, I make so much money after I bought this piece of property, you know, then I would pay the Cali and all of them. But I had a hard time trying to get it together. One day, a guy came by and he said, "I see you trying to get your gas station." But anyway, he said, "What's the problem?" I said, "Money, man. What do you think?" You know. He said, "Well, how much money you need?" I said, "About $4,000." Well, I'll go back. I had my property paid for, so I went out to Second National Bank and I tried to borrow $4,000 to get my pumps in and everything. Second National Bank said they didn't have it. You know. I said, "Well, I got a clear deed and everything." So they turned me down.
Do you think it was because you were a black man?
Yeah. Well, hey, what else? They didn't want you to get ahead. So I went down to, they wouldn't let me have $4,000. But I went down to Clyde Cole, the manager Clyde called Cadillac Police, the name Pat. I said, Pat, I said, and a Cadillac cost you $22,000. And I said, hey, order me a Cadillac. And I said, I want to finance through Second National Bank. He said, why Second National Bank? I said, because. I said, it's a little secret. I said, just get the finance through Second National Bank. So about a week he called me up. He said, hey, Homer, yeah, I said, come down the state. So I went down to Clyde Court. He said, I got your loan through. I said, who you get it through? He said, you want a Second National Bank, right? So he said, I got it through Second National Bank. I thought they were going to put me in jail. I went down to Second National Bank. I raised hell with them. I said, you can finance up $22,000, but you couldn't let me have $4,000. Because I want my kids to sleep on a white sheet and bed like yours. And they were naming on the Medicare. Somewhere they couldn't get it. But anyway, so I went back down to Pine Street and started hustling again. A guy came out one day, and that's when he asked me, what's the problem taking so long to get together? I said, what do you think, money? He said, well, I think I can get you $20,000. I said, what do you mean, $20,000? Where are you coming from? So he came back a week later. He said, well, I got you $20,000. So really, I start.
This is a white man helped you when the bank wouldn't help you.
But anyway, I don't know where he got it. I know where he got it from Wall Street, New York City. But anyway, I got it all together. He came back. He said, well, I see you making progress, so I'm building all over it. Now I need money to get my stock in, oil fields and main, stuff. He said, well, I'll get you another 20. That's Standard Oil. I said, well, how can I pay all this? He said, obligation to pay the company back a penny a gallon, So he came back, brought me another 20,000, and I started blooming. That's when I got
So how long did you have the gas station?
Let's see, 51, 70, about 10 years, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so did you repair cars too, or it was just for gas?
I fully equipped the gas, repairs and everything. 40 by 50, bathroom.
Who were some of your mechanics that worked there?
Louis Watson, he passed away. That was my brother-in-law. And just me and him. And then he could make more money. I told him to go to Bank Chevrolet because he went Louis. Then he went to Bank Chevrolet. And then Gail Price was my body man, And so that's where we started. And my brother worked for me. And Lomax Springs. I got Lomax out of prisoner. and he said, I never would get rid of him. He was indicted with me for life, But anyway, that's not. I had help us, come around. So 1971, I think. That's when I went to Detroit to drive a tractor and trailer back, a tractor back for a guy, Weaver. He was in dump business. So then outside, and when he told me I should go into trucking business, which I had been thinking about this because I was trying to follow the money. And so I put my business up for sale, and nobody wanted it. Well, our Cargator was building drums. They didn't want it. I used to do all their maintenance and everything, and they said they'd like to have it, but they really didn't need it. So John Spain, he just had come out of law school, and I seen his name in the paper. So my sister died in 1971. I had to go back to Mississippi to take care of business. So I had my place up for sale, and I told John, I didn't want but 20, because I had paid Standard Oil down to $20,000. So that's all I really wanted. I wanted $20,000 for my business. So I take my business up, and John, he taking over. So I went home and taking care of my business down in Mississippi. I came back, and John called me up. Well, I came back and I opened up a mechanic shop on Walnut Street. Yeah, and but anyway, John sold a place for me, and I went up and I said, "What do you?" He said, "You can't guess what I got for it." I said, "No, I can't. Not $1,000." He says, "I got 40,000." So I got enough money to pay Standard Oil off, 20,000, and I went in the mechanic business in Warren. And then in 56, I went into trucking business. You know, tried to buy a truck. They wouldn't sell me one. They say I couldn't make no money with it. Why, you know?
But you really could have, but again.
And so they wouldn't sell me a new truck. I said, well, I built me one. So I built my own first 18-wheeler myself.
You build an 18-wheeler?
Yeah, I went to Cleveland, bought me cabin chassis, and I went to Junkyard, bought me motor and main gear, put rims and air ride. I got pictures. And I paid $1,000 for this Diamond T, and I put it together and ran to New Mexico for 10 years, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, that's when I went in.
Wow, so you traveled that extensively in a truck for years?
After I came out of World War II, I ran the road. That's when I ran the road for 50 years.
And so what did you haul in your truck?
Everything from steel to produce, everything. General Motors, I ran out of Packard to New Mexico for 20 years, hauling Packard electrics. Right. Well, I'm going to hit him, so when I first came to Warren, when I got to Warren, the hot dog shop, I guess I was a hustler. I had $1 in my truck, pickup, 3840 Winchester. And then after I went into trucking business, like I said, I ran the road for 50 years, 18-wheeler. That's why I can't straighten my arms out now. And I hauled from produce, California. I ran every state in the union. I know every little back road and everywhere. I dodged the scale and all that stuff. 1971, I had an accident down in Effingham, Illinois. And Decatur, I was in the hospital for 28 days in Decatur. And this was a surprise to me. My baby, my wife, her mother, we had separated then. But anyway, I was single when I had this accident. And I was broken arm, this right arm broken. I was laying up in the hospital. Here come three girls, three women. My wife over there, her two friends worked at General Motors. They came around and stayed 2 weeks with me. And she was my best customer, one at the gas station. And I was surprised to see her there, you know. And that's how we started back. And,
wow, so you almost died in that car accident if you were there for almost a month.
Yeah. This arm broken here with 6 screws in it. I broke this arm, that's it. And
how did the accident happen?
right front tire blew out on my truck, and I held it together. I went down the embankment, I fell out. The door came over, I fell out. And all the guys said I jumped out, but I fell out the truck because my truck ended up out in the soybean field. Upright, I had 3 steel cores on it, and 40,000 pounds steel cores on it, and the truck was straight up. And
so you had some angels with you that day, didn't you?
Huh?
You had some angels with you that day.
Angels with me. I mean, good angels. And highway patrol came by, and I was sitting on the side of the highway, and they had called the ambulance, but highway patrol taking me in this car and taking me to the hospital down in Decatur. And I stayed there 20 days. When I came home, then I went into her care because she had came down. But after I came home, I got well, and then after that,
So did you continue to drive trucks after that, or did you give it up?
No, no, I continued. One of my mechanics would take two of us to drive a truck because I could drive and he could shift. So, and that was B.J. Johnson. He was working on, he was one of my truck drivers. So, and after that, that just was the way of life, you know. And my wife we got together. And, but after that, I didn't see her no more in 10 years, because, you know, I was trucking business. So then we got together and we ended up out here.
So I admire the fact that you've always had this entrepreneurial spirit. So did you get that from your parents? Did they encourage you to work for yourself?
Well, see, my father, he was always independent. And he told me when I was a kid, said they spell your name just like everybody at the M-A-N, man. And he told me don't bow down on my knees for nobody. So I always wanted to be a man. See, my brother, he passed away when he was 83 years. And but he was the oldest, but I was always, when we was home with my mother, I was always the man. But I was younger than him, but I was the man, you know. And my mother always used me as the head of our house, you know. My brother, he was great, but he didn't have nerve to get out there on his own, you know. He was a guy, he's just like a lot of people, you know, they know how to take orders from other people, but they didn't want to get out on their own.
So tell us the story again about how you got your name, Homer.
Homer? Oh, Dr. Homer. Okay. See, I was born in Wednesday morning, 3 a.m. And Dr. Homer Frizzell, that was his name. He came out on a horse and buggy and delivered me from my mother. Well, you know, the doctor spanked you on the butt to make you cry. And Mama said, the doctor spanked me. And I looked up at him and said, what the hell you hitting me for? That's what
So that's how they named you after the doctor that delivered you.
So my mother had already had a name for me, but Dr. Homer, he said, I'm going to name this boy after me. Well, see, in Mississippi, you was a boy. You never got grown. You're 50 years old. You still was a boy. You know.
And why was that?
I don't know, but
because back then white people
was in charge.
Relegated black men as being boys or subservient to them. You couldn't be a man like them. You had to be a boy beneath them.
And I can remember one kid. I have to say he had the same ideas as me. Oh yeah, let's get back to the doctor. So the doctor told my mama, says, I'm going to name this boy. His name was Dr. Homer Frizzell, and he named me Homer Frizzell Capers. My mom already had my name, but since he couldn't make me cry, yeah, he told my mother, I'm going to name this boy after me. So he named me Homer Frizzell. My niece and nephew, Phoebe, my sister-in-law's son, ran my name too, part of it. Yeah. But anyway, Mississippi, you didn't grow up. You was a boy, so he was 50 years old. And this little colored boy was on his way to school. He was about 6 years old. And there was about 3 or 4 white guys sitting, talking, you know, in front of the gas station. And one of the white guys, he was a white guy, but he wanted to be in the upper class. But anyway, there's 3 of them sitting there. So he asked the boy, he asked the little colored boy, what do you got in that bucket? Down the bucket. Boy, what do you got in that bucket? The boy looked up at him and said, none of your damn business. You better get a bucket yourself.
Whoa.
I said, son of God, he had to do it.
But they probably didn't mess with him because they knew he was just a little boy.
Right. I just hit into him.
So what would have
But the
happened?
other white guy says, that's good for you. That boy wasn't doing nothing to you. You know, the way to school, you don't want to jump in that.
So what would have happened if you had said that, Mr. Homer?
I don't know. But you know, I don't have no harsher in my about nobody. You don't know what that person thinking or what he gonna do, white or black. You don't know, so you can't judge. You can't judge nobody. You can write the rules, but you can't change their heart. It's still in their heart. And I'm gonna tell you, when I closed my business on Pine Street, I had $7,000 on the books on credit.
Wow.
Do you know who my worst enemies?
Your own people?
My own people owed me. And when I turned all my paperwork over to my lawyer to collect my money, wasn't one white person's name was in it. And my own people. Me and Gary, we always said, if we had been patronized with our own people, I'd have been in business yet. It's just like Gary now, down at the body shop. All of his customers, hate to say it, right? Because we jealous of one another. We are worse enemies. We jealous of one another. And I was trying to help them. They come to me and want credit, but when it comes time to, and you see that girl sitting over there? I would be the first person that she pay after she get her check. If all my customers had been like that, but hey, that's the way life was. That's the way your own people hate you. They hate you. She thinks she's something. You know what I mean? I'm serious. But you don't hate them, because you don't know who you're hating. You know what I mean? I've been out here 50 years. And I know five families out here, but I haven't had one moment's trouble out of no one. Every time they see me, I don't know what they might hate me, but when they see me, they say, hi, Mr. Capers, how you doing? And I said the same to them. I haven't been in their house, and they haven't been in mine. You know, but I got something. They see me out there doing something. I got over the fence friends. They cutting the grass. Hey, oh my God, how you doing? So, you know. And I got one guy over here. He's a good friend. Now he shows he's good, because every time he gets something, vegetables and stuff like that, you know, we exchange. He bring it to me. But
when you
my
were,
old man told me, he said, son, you don't know, live your life the way you want to live, regardless what people think of you. Ignore it. You know what I mean?
when you were in Mississippi, did you hear of lynchings?
I've seen it, not here. Shit, see. The first one I seen, they hung a kid in Mobile, Alabama. And the young white kid, they had him hanging in, matter of fact, I might have that picture somewhere now, but they had him hanging in a tree. And the white kid would go around with sticks and come around and hit him on the feet. You know, yeah.
And you saw this lynching.
I seen it. And I don't know why they don't have that on television, but I can remember seeing a black guy being castrated, like he cut a hog's teeth out.
This is after he was already on a tree.
Yeah, that one, not him, it was another one, you know. Because white would paint themselves white, black, and rape the white women, and they would be looking for black people that did it, you know. I've seen all that, you know. And,
Well, you're one of the first ones brave enough to tell me about it, because most of the other people that I've spoken with that were in your age range, they don't want to talk about it.
I don't know why, but it ain't nothing to, hey, the way I see Southport, that was the way of life, so I don't know who to hate, you know. And that other, hey, when I forget, when I was trucking, so many places wouldn't serve me. We don't serve blacks. I don't eat them. But anyway, I was down in Virginia. I was on my way to New York. I was on my way to Newport News. I had to load out of Buffalo, New York. And I was driving at night about 1 o'clock, and I'm looking for a truck stop. And I see this sign, truck stop, 15 miles. I go. So I finally got there and pulled around the back where the truck was parking. And I went in. This is on Saturday, Saturday night. So I went in, parked my truck, went in there and jumped up on this bar. And the little girl, about 18 years old, white girl, she came out. She said, "Can I help you?" I said, "Yeah." So I always crazy about sweets. So donuts, I said, "Yeah, give me a couple of donuts, a cup of coffee." So she went back in the back. Damn, she ain't come back out yet. No, it wouldn't take this long to make a cup of coffee. She's about 15 years old, 16, maybe out of school, but helping her father place. She come out, I could see the tears in her eyes. She said, "I'm sorry." Yeah, I have to fix it to go. I said, "Shit, what the hell wrong with me? I forgot." I said, "No, baby." I said, "I tell you what. I want to take it to go." I said, "Cause if it's that bad, I can't sit here and drink it. I don't know what you might go back there and put in it. I'm going to get in my truck and take a sip and drop dead." So I said, "I'll see you next time." Oh, God. See, like I said, if you ain't been through it, you don't know it. You're talking about what you've seen on television. But what I'm telling you, I had the experience. Take it like the Waffle House. I remember when the Waffle House first came out. I was in North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina. Betwixt Charlotte and Spartanburg. I didn't want to make out my logs, but I wanted to catch up my logbook. So I went in. Nobody in there but, no, drop that. Yeah, but anyway, I went in this Waffle House and I sat down and I started, and I'm looking under, I'm catching up my logs. Everybody coming in, whitey. Waitress with the little tab and right over to the table. I'm sitting there. And I'm in there for 30 minutes, but I done got all my logwork. And this one waitress came over and she said, "I'm sorry. I didn't see you." She said, "Mind if I wait on this guy?" The guy said, "He got a flight to catch." I said, "Hell, I've been had one to catch for 4 or 5 minutes." But anyway, she went on so down. That was one of the stories. Now they talking about the North. Wasn't segregated shit. Springfield, Ohio, right now where my Dante's wife lived. I went into Springfield one morning with nobody at that truck stop. 8 o'clock in the morning. I just came out of Texas with a load going up east somewhere. But anyway, me and the waitress about to place people in the truck stop. That was on Route 4, coming out of Springfield. So I stopped and I went to make out my logs. So I got my logbook all caught up and everything. 3 waitresses over the counter, 3 of them, 3 girls. I'm doing my book work and I'm looking on the nobody come over to bring me a coffee, a glass of water. So finally one got nerve, I'll teach you for them. Finally one of them got nerve enough to come over and ask me, "I'm sorry, I didn't see you." Now it was 3 waitresses and me, because the truck stop, not a truck stop, but a restaurant just had opened up. Now, excuse me for what I'm going to tell you. So, I'm kind of getting mad. So she said, "I'm sorry I didn't see you." I said, "You didn't?" I said, "Well, baby, I'm the blackest language in here." So she said, "What can I get you?" I said, "Nothing. I'm finished. I done cut up my logbook and going."
Well, I'm sure you have lots of stories like that.
I could tell you, I could sit in. But you know, that didn't bother me. That was the way of life. They made the rules and they break the rules. And I had some good times.
So when you went to New York for the first time, did you go to Harlem?
Yeah. I went to Holly Flushman, you name it. We had a big truck stop just before you go across the bridge over in Connecticut, right at the thing. It's segregated New York City, Boston, you name it, and all over the world. And it was actually, the segregation was better down south than it was here, because you know what you could do down south, but you didn't know where you was going here. See, that's you got one foot in the door and you had to back out. Well, you didn't put one foot in the door in the south, because you know
Already
you wasn't
how it
supposed to go in
is.
there. But you don't know where. That time, in the 50s, you didn't know where to go. Cleveland was more segregated, and Mississippi was hidden behind closed doors. By law, they had to serve it, but Mississippi had their own law. You know what I mean? And here, Akron was a little bit open. Here, Akron was better open than Cleveland was. Back in the 70s, and that's why we go to Akron to party. We party all night long up there in Akron, you know what I mean, stuff like that. Boston, Holyoke, Maine, what big shots. I mean, I had a load of gum and went to Holyoke, Maine one time. Dispatch. I loaded out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and the guy didn't want to unload me. He says, "We didn't know all this. Ain't no black driver, deliver here." I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, guy." I said, "The address says so and so and so and so." I said, "Well, just sign my bill. So I don't get paid, whether I take it back or not. I don't give a damn. Just sign my bill that you refuse to take it." But he went on and unloaded me anyway. Now that was in Boston, and but I was in Rochester, and there's a restaurant there. I used to just do it for. I get out and I go in this place, and that wasn't nobody there but me at the bar at the county. When I left, there wasn't nobody but me. The other truck, there's a truck driver, my own truck driver. Wasn't nobody but me. But anyway, they wouldn't sit beside of me or nothing. I'd had the whole big bar by myself, because they'll find a seat, or I know they, come to. I kept all that in mind.
So when you first started driving trucks, were a lot of black men driving trucks then?
See, that's what they told me when I closed my business in Pine Street. They said, "You can't make it, man." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Ain't no blacks out there. There's going to be one, and that's me."
Wow.
Because I'm going to follow the money, because the people ain't going to deny it, they're afraid, And then I was stopped a lot of time. I was stopped. They tried to make me act a fool.
Oh, the police used to stop you?
Oh, they go.
Oh, tell me about that.
And they said, "Don't think I'll stop you because you're black." I said, "Look, man," I said, "I know you done heard that 1,000,000 times. I said, but if I'm doing something wrong, you stop me, So we leave with a laugh, So like that. Yeah, I went through all that. But they try to make you mad enough not to do what they say, or don't stop. That's wrong. That's why I tell these young kids today, you're killing your own self. You know the man want to kill you, so why give them a chance to kill you? Just like this down in Ferguson, Missouri. Ferguson, Missouri owe me $25 right now. Guy put me on the scales. He thought I was overloaded. He weighed me. All my axles come out perfect. I told him, "Man, I ain't got 7,000 pounds on, but I had a covered wagon, But I had the flaps on my trailer, the railroad to the ground." And he thought, because they were still at the lower ground. But anyway, he weighed me. But I had a book, Missouri. I didn't have a bingo stamp for Missouri on it because I didn't need it. Because Missouri acknowledged Ohio and Illinois stamp. So he take me down to precinct because I didn't have, and I tried to tell him, I said, officer, I said, you're wrong. I said, I don't need that stamp. So he take me down to precinct, 15 miles from the scale, charged me $25. And he gave me a ticket, and I paid it, and he getting ready to leave. I said, hey, wait a minute, where you going? I said, you got to take me back to my truck. He said, I don't run a cab driver. I don't run a cab company. I said, well, here, you ran one when you brought me here. Yeah. So the girl that worked in the office, she said, Mr. Capers, that I had paid the money. She said, I'll be off in 5 minutes. White girl. She said, I'll take it, go out there and get your seat. I'll take it back to the truck. So she did. I wait, and she take me back to the truck to the place. Oh, that's...
Did you ever encounter an experience where you were scared? Like, anything ever happened to you?
Never was scared. But I always said this in my life, I meant it. I kept a gun in my truck all the time, but I had it hidden in there. But nobody knew where it was but me. Don't hit me. Don't never hit me. If you do, that's the last time you will hit anybody, because I'm going to kill you. I ain't going to do nothing to make you kill me, but I'm going to kill you if you hit me, you know. So,
You're going to defend yourself.
I'm going to defend myself, because I know that was the way of life, so I got to do it.
So what do you attribute to your looking so young? Because you look so young.
Black-eyed peas and green beans. Black-eyed peas and cornbread. That's what they ask me all the time. I said, Cable, what do you eat? I said, and I was crazy. I said, sweet. I'm crazy about sweet. Now they said sweet is against you. That's all I ate when I was on the road. Ice cream and them little cookies.
Did you ever smoke or drink?
Yeah, when I quit smoking 60 years ago. My wife glad I did. But anyway, I was smoking tobacco cigarettes. So I was on my Lakeview, New Jersey, and 7-Eleven store. I stopped at the ran the store, so I went in. When I was out of cigarettes. I said, I give me a pack of cigarettes. $1.25 jumped up on the machine. You pay before you get yourself there, you know. So I said, only one pack. He said, that's what a 1 pack costs. I looked at my watch. I said, you know what? I said, it's 5 a.m. I said, if you probably won't. I said, but if you ever see me again, after that, I started back smoking. He said, you just quit like that? I said, for $1.25, I just quit like that. I ain't thought about the cigarettes since.
That is amazing to me.
I was in Texas one time. See this gal here, she living in Arlington, Texas. So I went to the store for something. So she said, Dad, bring me a pack of cigarettes back. So yeah, when I got the door, I told him, give me a pack of cigarettes. $4.50. I said, I only made 1 pack. He said, that's what it was. I said, shit. Because I used to bring cartons of cigarettes out of North Carolina. You know, I could get them 35 cents for cotton, you know. For the guys just smoking when I was trucking, you know, and sell them from them. Yeah.
Okay. So obviously you have good genes. I saw the picture of your dad, and he looked real young, and so you just blessed with good genes.
Yeah, my mother was 89 years old and 29 days when she died. My brother was 83. He ate himself to death, so that's what killed him. He loved to cook and eat. My dad was 83.
Do you have Indian blood in your...
Well, my dad was, I call him Geronimo. He was a lot of Indian in him. And he was a good man, but he didn't take nothing from nobody. He used to have I can remember when my mother and his sister had a restaurant in Jackson, Mississippi. And the old man got my father worked at Chess, he was a manager. As a matter of fact, he was a supervisor of a he worked at a sawmill. And they had made him manager of the utility what he was running. So the guy down under my dad was trying to get a log out. But anyway, my dad went down there, and the guy went up to run the machine, and my dad got his right hand cut off. Chest round the saw in 1929. He picked up his hand, wrapped it up, and walked to the dispenser, put it in his pocket, and then after that, he went into the cater business, like food wagon and stuff like that. Yeah.
Back then, you probably couldn't have sued the company like you can now, right?
Mm-hmm. No, it wasn't nothing. He didn't get nothing. No, it wasn't no. She could have been, but you know, he didn't even get no money.
Mm-hmm. But he went into business as a caterer after that.
Right, food wagon. My dad, he bought a brand new T-Model Ford. I think it was A-Model, T-Model, whatever. And he set me on his lap, and he pulled the two gears down and made, hold it in the road. He taught me how to drive when I was 7, 8 years old, you know. I can remember when I was 5 years old. I remember 1927, we had a big high water like the phenomenon they had overseas, the Mississippi River, cows and hogs and out on the logs, moaning and groaning and knowing it's going to drown and everything. I've been through hell, well, not really, but that was a way of life, you know. You had to grow out of it, you know. But I always wanted to do better for myself. I would take chances. I would take chances, you know. I'd like Evel Knievel, you know. Hell, I can jump this mountain or whatever.
Well, that's why you were successful, because you were always willing to take a risk.
The only thing, I had a little Indian boy when I was overseas. I kept him with me because, you know, you had to have somebody with you that speak the English. And he would tell me what the Indians were saying and everything, you know what I mean? But he wanted to come home with me, and he wanted me to bring him to the United States. But World War II was a segregated war, but it was an educated war to me, you know.
It taught you a lot about life, huh?
Yeah. It taught me that you can make it regardless. If you have to eat ants or butterflies or whatever it is, because I know when I ate bananas for 45 days. That's the only thing we could get to eat because the war was so terrible. You know, we was trying to build fighter strips for the airplanes to land and everything. Now you talking about your Vienna Air Base? Do you know who helped build that? Me. Vienna Air Base. I drove D8 Caterpillar over there when it was building that place. The only one, the company that signed to build that air base was from Nashville, Tennessee, and they only had one black company, one black guy working for them. And the guy told me, he said, "Man, you're lucky to get in." But now, the guy that ran the company, he wanted to see my union card. I said, "Man, I just got hired." I said, then I joined the union when I get paid off. He fired me because I didn't have a union card. Hell, you know.
But here you were a military veteran.
Yeah. But what can you do? You have to figure it out for yourself.
So did you have any other hobbies other than like working as a mechanic?
Yeah.
And what were some of your hobbies?
My first hobby when I came out, I met an Italian guy, Major Sabatino, when I was working for David Chevrolet in Belzona, Mississippi. And David told me, Major said, Cable says, I'm going to go in the Willis Jeep dealership, and I want you to go with me. David Chevrolet, the white lady, owned the franchise. And she didn't want me to go. She said, Homer said, Major don't have no insurance to cover you if something happened to you. But she wanted me to keep me there because I was a good janitor for her, you know. But anyway, I left and went with him, so that's when we started traveling, you know. And he taught me a lot I didn't know, because he had been a mechanic for years. But he fell in love with me, and we got together. And I stayed with him until I went to her mother's hometown, Shelby, Mississippi. And I opened my own business there. And matter of fact, I went to trade school there.
What did you take up?
I already knew it, but I went into welding, electric welding. So this farmer I went in there to get that $100 a month from the governor, because I already know what I'm doing. I know. So one day he went to lunch. He said, he gave me this stick, told me what to do while I was going. I'm supposed to be a trainee. When he came back, I done wrote my name and all that shit, you know. He came back, he said, who been here? I said, what do you mean who been here? He said, who wrote all this? And I laughed. He said, you know what? He said, hell, you better than I am, and I'm the manager. He said, well, I ain't got to do it. You sign up for brother mechanic, cause, you know, to get the money from the governor. Yeah. And oh, I've been through, like I told you, when I came back from World War II, I didn't know my wife. I hadn't seen her. But that's the owner. She was, see, when I was in the service, I sold cigarettes, blankets to the Indians, then I sent that money home, and my wife, she didn't have one penny when I got home.
Wow.
But she was good to me.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I can't live with myself. She says, we're going to have to separate. Because I done messed up everything that you sent. She said, you go ahead and find somebody, and I'll take life as it is.
Mm-hmm.
So
how did you meet Linda's mother?
well, from the day now, me and this guy was a traveling mechanic major. And I met Dar Baby in Shelby. And Major had a brother run a business, so we went up from Belzone to help him out. Then that's when I was in church business, and that's when I met Linda's mother.
You said you were in the church business.
Not church business, I was a member. I was a Christian, you know.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
still a Christian, you know.
Yes.
I believe in God. But anyway, I met, went up to help this guy, me and Major, and I met her father and mother, Darby's father and mother.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I met Darby. I call it Flossie, I call it Darby, always call it. And I went about 6 months to, I was supposed to be drawing $100 a month, money from the governor. I ain't got a check yet. I kept bugging the governor. They say they sent the money. So my first wife, she called me up one night, about 11 o'clock. I had a shop. I was working in the shop, and the guy said, "Capers, you got a call from California." I forgot about Cat, you know. So she called me to thank me for, I know you don't know it, but I thank you for, I've been getting $100 for about 6 months. She said, I want to let you know it. She said, but I've taken care of, we had 2 kids, a girl and a boy. She said, I'll spend it on them, you know. Then that's where I had to remarry Linda's mother again, because we wasn't really, we was married, but we weren't legally married. So I put it in the paper so that Cat didn't show up to protest against it, so that got clear.
Oh, okay.
And I met, and we had, and
were you an athlete ever? Were you an athlete?
Oh, I played first base. Hey, if it hadn't been segregated, like, see, we made, when I was in school, the time I went to school, we made our own baseball bats, we made our own balls, you know. I was first baseman.
This is down in Mississippi. Oh, okay. So you was a good baseball player,
Oh, I
huh?
love baseball.
So did you ever used to see any of the Negro League games?
No, I remember the Negro Leagues, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But, Jackie Robinson, all them guys, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What kind of music did you used to listen to back in the day? Who was some of
I'm the
your?
blues man, yeah.
Oh, okay.
B.B. King, Albert Collin, Albert King, and all. I'm a blues man because it's everyday life. You know, I love the sit. Like I love Western.
The Mississippi Blues,
Yeah,
right?
I love Western.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can sit out there and let that on Western Station, because see, that's what I used to listen at when I was on the road after midnight.
Mm-hmm.
You get all that good Western, you know.
Oh, this would be on the radio.
Hmm. And I did most of my running at night. I didn't eat no more after 5 o'clock. I run all night. See, like this 1,800 miles down to El Paso, Texas. I ran for 18 years, 20 years in El Paso, Texas.
So if you would eat after 5 p.m., that would make you sleepy?
Yeah, I didn't eat after 5. I didn't eat because I be drive all night, and I love to drive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all my night. And I tell you what, I stopped 1,800 miles, and I had 2 stops. I'd stop in Nashville, take a shower, and I'd stop in Arkansas. She was in Arkansas then. And from Dallas, Texas to El Paso, Texas, 617 miles.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I asked you if you were an athlete because your sons,
Tony
they were great athletes.
and Kate they would cry and hug each other because I think if Tony was a pitcher, if he fan out Kate would cry, you know, they hugged each other. Now, them was 2 guys, they loved each other.
Mm-hmm.
And they was back to back. But,
So did you used to see Tony play when he was a football star at Harding?
I've seen him play a couple of games most of the time I was on the road, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but I've seen him.
I remember going to those games. He was our hero.
And the teachers would know who Tony was, everybody, because lunch, Tony still eating one, they give him, you know, he eat 2 steaks still in one. Yeah. And he had a good name up in the South. Now I tell you what he used to do. When he went to Notre Dame, he had Tony back there at TC. He had his radio station, and I turned on my radio. I'd get around South Bend, and he'd have me on. And some old man ought to be right along in this area or something. I used to park my truck at Service Plaza, and Tony come out and get me if I'm on a Saturday night, because that's when he do his show. I park my truck, he come out the truck stop, he come out to rest there and pick me up and bring me back into South Bend. I listened to the show until and he was good at that, big day at DC.
Now, what college did he attend?
Notre Dame.
Wow, so he was probably one of the first blacks around here to
That's
go to
right.
Notre Dame
Old
before
man,
the Browners.
right, old man Tucker came down and signed him up. Spent the night with us on 4th Street.
Who was Tucker?
He was a big wheel there in he owned part of Notre Dame.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he came down, spent the night with us on 4th Street.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he signed Tony up for Notre Dame.
Oh, that's awesome.
And old man Tucker told Tony, said, Tony, the girl's gonna be after you. He said, but they'll be here when you get back. He said, go ahead on and take care of business, you know. Well, Tony played he was place kicker. That's why they named him Tony the Toad, not Meadville. He kicked a 40-yard field goal down there, and that's when they named him Tony the Toad and won.
Well, I mean, honestly, he was like the first black man that I know that was a kicker.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know too many more
Luke
since
Rose.
him.
He was kicking Luke Rose when he was 54-yard field goal.
Mm-hmm.
That's when
Lou the Toe from Cleveland Browns, right?
Dante got his pictures all over the school up there now.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And then your baby girl right here. She was always one of the best dressed girls at Warren Western Reserve High School.
Oh, yeah, that's my baby. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anything else you want us to know or anything else you want to say? I think this has been just
Oh, we can sit
fantastic.
here and talk all night long. Next time maybe next year, we'll
Okay.
do it all over again. My granddad, my mother's father, he was 103 when he left here. Maybe I might catch up with him. I don't know. I ain't thought about leaving here
Yeah.
yet.
Okay. Well, so this is like maybe 2 weeks early, but I'm gonna wish you happy birthday,
Okay,
Mr. Capers, 100 years
And
old.
I'll see you next year, baby. I'll be 101.
All right.
Yeah. You hang around. I ain't gonna let you go because I enjoy you.
All right.
Mm.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.